victims of what is known as organized stalking, which can also be termed as gang stalking. Now, as a result of being a victim of this crime, and I was intentionally made homeless through this crime in Michigan. So I came to San Diego in order to be able to survive the elements better. And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to inform to expose some of the things that I know, and this is a lawyer video. And what I mean by when I say that this is a lawyer video is that this is a video that's going to eventually hopefully reach a law firm or a lawyer for scrutinization and hopefully for advocacy. Now, you hear that buzzing that goes off in this Periscope video, that's because my phone, all of a sudden the notifications concerning like YouTube videos, I'm a subscriber to specific YouTube channels, and whenever they post a video, I get notified. Well, I turned that notification off in my phone, and it got turned back on magically. So whenever you hear that buzzing sound, since I can hear it, I'll repeat myself if I'm talking when that occurs. I forgot to turn it off again before I made this video. Alright, hold on. Now, if this video abruptly stops at any moment while I'm making it, please research anything and please research anything that's stated up to that point. Hopefully it won't occur. But since it has in the past, I have to make that statement. Now, also, as a direct result of me being a target of this crime, I am being tracked to wooded areas where I go to try and have a measure of peace from the open physical gang stalking that is perpetrated around me, and even periodically directly towards me. Now, so what I do in response to that, in part, is make predictions about what might transpire towards me, even when I'm making videos, and that includes people coming on the property or congregating anywhere around me, including through normal apparent excuses, reasons, or mishaps. So that is being... Hold on. So let's see if that occurs. Now, I'm going to interject this statement as well, because when you are a victim of an extremely heinous, horrific, bizarre crime, and the public has never heard of it, what us targets do is we not only experience hellacious hell on a daily basis, nonstop, as a result of being victimized by this crime. And I'm not just talking about the gang stalking of this crime. I'm also talking about the torture that it can be connected to them. Now, and what I mean by that is non-consensual human experimentation and neurological and biological manipulation that also encompasses torture, and I'll get onto that in a minute. Just bear with me. Now, remember this, because this is one of the most important statements I'll make in this video. You can research every single thing that I state in this video. Now, one of the main things they've been, in fact, the main thing they've been using as a mechanism of control is making me homeless. My blog, which is attached to my Twitter account, which is at HIGGINSGGGG, that's all one word, it's my Twitter account. It has a blog attached to it in the profile. So you can go to that Twitter account, click on the blog, and you will see massive evidence indisputably proving that I was to 6 to 7 apartments in Michigan, made homeless from at least 4 of them, okay, while in the midst of being gang stalked as well along my routes. Now, a good majority of that evidence concerning Michigan, including one video of me reporting being gang stalked to U of M campus safety in Dearborn, Michigan, okay, and an event that took place in the library right before it, clearly shows me reporting that I'm being gang stalked to U of M campus safety in Dearborn, Michigan. The blog also indisputably shows me exposing through infiltrated Google group forum posts that I was making. And what I mean by infiltrated is that every single one of my blogs, email files, YouTube accounts, petitions, okay, Google group forum posts have been hacked and infiltrated by perpetrators, and even descriptions of my YouTube videos, like the U of M videos, okay, that are in my blog. Things that were put in the descriptions of those YouTube videos, I did not put in there. Absolutely. So it's very prudent, okay, for you to go to my blog, okay, just do it, and you will see. Now, I've been on national radio shows on several occasions, which I seem to not be able to do anymore, every time I call the same radio show that I've been on, Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis, I end up with endless busy signals. Now, that isn't a pretty natural thing to occur if you're calling a national radio show of any national radio show because of how many people call. But I will interject this. You can go to Google and research how target cell phones are hacked and tracked and how their phone calls are rerouted by the perpetrators. So take that in consideration. So several of the radio shows that I've been on pertaining to the same radio show, their links are in my blog. So please go to it. Now, fellow American citizens, as a result of them making me homeless, the homelessness has been the main, creating homelessness, okay, and keeping it covertly managed, and then using it as a control mechanism. If they see that I'm doing something that they don't like online, and cyber surveillance is all over the internet to be a direct method of this crime. It's even been exposed in news broadcasts like gang stalking bullying on steroids, which you can YouTube. Hold on. You can also Google that. It's massive. Every target, tens of thousands of targets are all over in the internet at Google and YouTube, exposing what they are experiencing and what they know through blogs, petitions, YouTube videos, you name it. Okay. Now, one of the mechanisms that they're using for control for me is that the mechanisms of control they've been using against me to keep me in this crime, to stop the exposure of it, and to distract me in the results and the effects of it, that are produced as a result of them tracking me to wooded areas, okay, because they know everybody's got to sleep, and they also know as a result of the massive harassment that they perpetrate against all targets, that targets just want to be left alone. And that's one of the reasons why I do spend as much time as I do at wooded areas, because as a result of coming to wooded areas, at least I'm not every day directly harassed. I am overly harassed at wooded areas through sound harassments that are propped up, through people parking directly behind me or not too far from me, which is that designed to lead my thinking to make me wonder, are people going to come on the property and will the police be called? Now, you would not believe the fear campaigns that are intentionally induced for a target to experience. And I'm going to back that statement up with this following statement. There's videos in my blog and on YouTube clearly showing that these criminal perpetrators sent over 60 messages to my older phone, text messages to my older phone, and a lot of them was about threatening to have me arrested for illegal lodging, trespassing. I'll repeat that. A lot of them were about concerning threats of having me arrested for illegal lodging, trespassing, or encroachment. They also sent me 3 letters in the mail regurgitating the same thing and the loss of my benefits as a result of me going to jail for this. Now, the videos of the text messages and the scanned letter, the 3 letters that they sent to my P.O. box, those were scanned and made as PDF links. Those are also incorporated within my blog. Now, so when they see that I'm getting out of hand in reference to how they think concerning exposing them, and through cyber surveillance, they can see if you're preparing to go to a lawyer. As a result of you looking at lawyers online and so on and so forth. They will then start staging events directly towards me at wooded areas. Okay, and utilize those events in order to produce results, and then the effects from the results, like but not limited to causing me to have to move, which ties me up in a constant busyness of moving and moving my property to another area where the same shit is repeated at the next one. The same exact identical shit is repeated at the next one. I've experienced this at over 25 different hiking areas in San Diego since August 8, 2011. Every single time I move, within 1 or 2 days, in fact within the same day, that I finally start utilizing that area, I'm immediately, creatively, and they let me know that they've gang stalked me to that area by propping up the harassment that I experienced at that. They immediately let me know that I have been gang stalked to the new area by propping up the same types of criminal harassment overtly and even directly towards me at the new place. And this is done to make you feel powerless over your situation. Now, and my blog proves this. Look, if they'll gang stalk you to several apartments, they obviously had to know where you live. If they intentionally create the homelessness of you, they obviously had a motive. If they have you gang stalked and harassed along all your routes every day, which is caught on my tape recorder, every single day, they obviously have to know where I'm at. So think about this. If they're harassing me along my routes every day, okay, if it's caught everywhere I go every day, okay, 99% of the time it's caught everywhere I go every day. Only on rare occasions is it only caught at one or two places, okay? As a result of this, you can obviously deduce that I'm being tracked in order to prop up this harassment. Sorry, it was a squirrel. Hold on. Now, just bear with me a second, okay? Bunnies and squirrels and raccoons, they kind of make the same noise that people do when they're coming on the property, because when you come on this property, you got to walk through branches and you got to walk on leaves that crunch when they walk on them. And when squirrels and bunnies and raccoons get on the property, once they sense a human beings on it, they're going to run. And as a result, they displace a lot of landscape, the leaves and stuff. Therefore, they make noise, and it's almost identical to the same noise that it's almost identical. It's like 70% identical to what a human being makes, the noise they make when they come on the property. So, I have to be cautious and attentive to what's going on around me as a result of me being brutally assaulted 12 times and 6 assaults in San Diego and about 6 or 7 in Michigan, okay, because of this crime. Absolutely. So now, so that's one of the mechanisms they use to tie me up in the constant business of moving. It always occurs every single time that I start looking up lawyers and law firms online. I am either psychologically intimidated to move through homeless people and social deviants and punks and criminals that they prop up on the property. I'm also psychologically intimidated to move by when I leave a property that I utilize and then come back to it. There's all of a sudden people on it that have taken it over. They know that I will not enter the property once I see them. I'd have to go to another spot in order to avoid an assault or a robbery. It's the reason why they do it. Now, I've already caught massive amounts of homeless people directly involved in the gang stalking of me, absolutely. Okay, they were used for 3 of the assaults, okay, that I can think of off the top of my head. So, you can Google homeless people and gang stalking as well. Right. Another method that they will use is getting property owners to approach the victim on the property. And that is done through, they obviously know where the target's at through the tracking. The system then looks up who pays the taxes on the property and privately colludes with them. I strongly suggest you can go to Google, you can go to YouTube and type in "listen to a stranger." Every single thing exposed in that video from the second you turn it on until the second it stops is gang stalking. And that's a great introduction for you to be able to see how easy it is for these criminally insane maggots to utilize people, any type of person of any age, any class, okay, to do things for law enforcement based on the prestige and influence of a law enforcement position, okay, and a lie. So go to that YouTube video, "Listen to a Stranger," okay? Now, if that don't work, would they possibly start work projects close by you to engage in sensory overload, where you're constantly subjected to nonstop noise, all different types of noises? Okay, I remember in one of my apartments on several dates, I was laying in my bed and I literally counted 12 different continuous noises going on around me at once. 12. Okay, ice cream trucks, leaf blowers, lawnmowers, loud mufflers, loud car stereos, people yelling, kids. Okay, all going on at once, continually. Now, you think about what I'm telling you. Google that to gang stalking. Okay, so they feel that they can just overload your senses to the point to where you don't want to live in the non-stop sensory overload. They believe that can get you to leave the property. Now, there's a YouTube video on the internet right now. You could probably find it by going to YouTube and typing in couple harassed with noise campaign or noise harassment. It's a couple that got, that's gang stalking. It's a video, it's an actual video about gang stalking. Okay. It literally shows what this couple was subjected to as a result of them being interested in the ownership, the partial ownership of a property that the fire department chief owned part of. And he warned the couple that if they continued their bid for it, that they would regret it for the rest of their lives. Well, they continued their bid, and then the noise harassment started. Now, noise harassment's all over the internet to be directly connected to gang stalking. And if they feel that between that and the overt harassment and the other psychological intimidations the targets intentionally made to feel, if that don't work, then they'll start coming towards you more directly. And here's another thing I want you to pay attention to. I'd say 95% of the time, right before I go to put up my tent, or right after it's been put up, a bunch of different things start going on around me. Okay? Is that by any way designed to use my senses to get me to see or hear the activity going on around me, to induce fear that I'll be discovered and that the police will be called? Remember what I talked to you about concerning the text messages that were sent to my older phone and the 3 letters they sent me in the mail. And that's nothing compared to the non-stop threats I endured every day, okay, from some homeless people that they had propped up to camp out 100 feet away from me at a prior wooded area that threatened me every day by saying, gang stalk, why don't you call the cops and get her out of here? Gang stalk, why don't you come and steal her stuff? Now, that's one of the things that I actually exposed on the 9/17/13 Ground Zero show. That link is in my blog, okay? Then I caught one of them engaging in direct physical harassment towards me on Thanksgiving Day 2013, and then I caught him at the wooded area lying about it on video. Okay. The goal was to classically condition and sensitize me to being afraid of being arrested or ticketed for illegal lodging, trespassing, encroachment, and or that my property would be stolen, and or being robbed, okay, or assaulted in any way, through the non-stop repetitive threats. This, as a result, makes the target hyper-vigilant. Intentionally inducing hyper-vigilance in a target is a method of gang stalking that's all over the internet. Google that as well. So basically what they're doing is literally destroying your life by making you homeless and everything else they do to you, including targeting my finances. And by the way, I've heard 3 threats in the past 10 days, 2 of them through 2 separate UCSD students. Does she really expect to get paid, okay, while gang stalkers being said around me? Once at this wooded area, and another one over by the bus stop off of La Jollaville Square Drive. I'll repeat that. The other one was over by La Jollaville Square Drive bus stop. Now, threatening that a target's finances are going to be co-opted, okay, is a method of gang stalking. And you can also Google banks and gang stalking as well. And I'm getting notifications in my email accounts that people are applying for credit cards in my name. Hold on. Now, fellow Americans, so a huge aspect of gang stalking is about psychological operations, getting in your head in order to produce a mental response or an emotional response. Fear, hate, anger, depression, any type of victimization is what gang stalking is all about. Because if you can constantly overload the mind and the body is overloaded from the stress that the mind is enduring, then you can break that individual down. If you put a human being in survival mode and then threaten survival, that is done, and so the human being is never allowed to critically think about their situation. And you got to also remember, a lot of noise harassment and other things that are happening to gang stalking victims are intentionally designed to keep the target from their own purposeful thinking. Okay, the sensory overload. If a target is experiencing voice to skull, Google that and YouTube it as well. Oh my God, that's been exposed on national radio shows as well, including the national radio show 901-2015. This particular show I wasn't on, but through the same national radio show that I've been on. That link is also incorporated within my blog. But you can also Google voice to skull. Okay. Now, so this is literally how I live every day. From the second I get up. You know, there's been on many occasions that I leave my tape recorder running all night long. And then, so obviously nothing's being moved around in my tent or in my immediate environment, usually when I'm sleeping, right? And then as soon as I wake up, all of a sudden people start talking around. Vehicles start parking and pulling up directly adjacent to me, okay? Noise campaigns start. Now, I want you to think about what I'm stating. So you know what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start buying more microcards for my tape recorder, and I'm going to literally start taping while I'm sleeping. And then when I wake up in the morning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately start another audio file, and I'm going to make my morning predictions. And I'm going to keep that so the tape recorder can reflect that. So the tape recorder can reflect how all of a sudden noises started happening the moment I woke up. Now you might think to yourself, well, how would they know if a victim is waking up or not? Alright, well, you can Google covert surveillance and gang stalking like radar guns and see-through wall radars, okay, being attached to gang stalking crimes. And even remote neural monitoring can possibly be scrutinized. Now, fellow American citizens, I know this probably sounds bizarre to you, okay, but why are tens of thousands of people all over the internet exposing the same crime, people who have never talked to each other, okay? Now, okay, so, like, there was a woman just here in San Diego in November or December 2016 who was on the ABC News, and that you can YouTube that news broadcast to watch it. It's not a very long interview. It's only like, it's a little over a minute, alright? And it literally shows her, the title of the YouTube video is San Diego Mother Thinks She's a Victim of Community Stalking. Same thing as gang stalking. This crime goes by several names. Okay. Gang stalking, organized stalking, community stalking, cause stalking, revenge stalking, COINTELPRO. But it mostly goes by gang stalking, organized stalking, and community stalking. Well, within this news broadcast, she flat out exposes what they did. What they were doing to her, playing psychological operations on her. It also shows her finding a hidden video camera in her home. Now that's all over the internet, being exposed by thousands of individuals all over the internet and by alternative media as well, as being one of the main surveillance tools of this crime. Okay, if they wait until you leave a wooded area and come up on the property and set up hidden surveillance, they can obviously deduce, and that includes sound surveillance, they can obviously deduce when you're moving around. Therefore, they know you've woken up. Okay? They also catalog, okay, your routes and routines, your behavior patterns, everything, because they want to build what they do around the information that's taken from the surveillance. Okay, so what is incorporated within the title of this Periscope video? So let's see if I'm arrested for illegal lodging, trespass, or encroachment. Let's see if I'm reported by anybody, including work crews, neighbors, kids, teenagers, adults, property owners. Let's see if any incident occurs towards me. Okay, joggers as well, who conveniently come up on the property. Ain't that nice? Right before I put up my tent. Yeah. Or right after it's been put up. Ain't that nice? Yeah. Okay? And make no mistake about it, these maggots will use kids too, because as bizarre as they can make your complaint sound, okay, the easier it is for them to call you crazy, which is a method of gang stalking. Google that too. Okay. So what I do is inform the public about these horrific, heinous criminalities that are being perpetrated by absolute animals. Okay, oh, absolutely. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give you some information concerning some of the names of some websites that you can go to and some YouTube videos you can look at, so you can look at some of the technological resources that are being exposed all over the internet by thousands of individuals, okay, who are stating that these technologies are being remotely subject to the targets. Alright, so I incorporated surveillanceissues.com in the title of this Periscope video. Research every single thing on that website. Do it. Okay? And you can also take the, you can also go to YouTube and type in John Hall Satellite Terrorism, ex-CIA scientist Robert Duncan, including Soul Catcher technology. You can also Google and YouTube remote. All my descriptions can be Googled and, when appropriate, YouTube. Remote neural monitoring. Okay, the microwave hearing effect. The silent sound spread spectrum, or the silent sound spectrum. Ultrasonic sound transmission. Voice to skull. Okay. Human experimentation occurring to gang stalking victims. Brain scanners. Okay. Brain implants. EMG implants, prosthetic implants, you name it. You just would not believe, literally, what is happening to gang stalking victims. You just would not believe it. Literal, flat out, non-stop, almost non-stop torture that is experienced by specific target individuals in one form or another, day in and day out, non-stop, even when they're sleeping. Literally. And they are literally also doing this to kids. So, another good video to watch at YouTube is a video that's titled in the way that I describe right now. Go to YouTube search box and type in 5-22-11 David Larson, James Lambert, okay, video. It's through the Federal Jack YouTube channel, or the Federal Jack YouTube channel. And watch and listen to their interviews. Now, fellow American citizens, one of the main things of gang stalking is designed to mentally deteriorate the mind in order to basically bring the mind down to an animal level, and then to treat you like an animal. To continuously and non-stop violate your constitutional and civil rights non-stop on a daily basis every day. Not just with all the gang stalking techniques that are perpetrated against the target, but also if the target is being subject to also as well the technological resources that these animals have and utilize, but also through the circumstances that the target is intentionally put in and absolutely kept in. Do you really honestly think that I would be living my life homeless because of my own choices? Of course not. Now, I mentioned this in other Periscope videos. If I got an apartment to rent tomorrow, or a room to rent, or if I even went to a motel and stayed, they would wait until I went through money, okay, and then cause the eviction of it, and I end up right back into homelessness again. When you've been gang stalked and evicted from your apartment, 5, 6, 7 apartments, you start to realize that no matter what you do or where you move, I've been gang stalked to motels, okay? So, do you honestly think that it's prudent to go through all your money while you know you're a victim of a crime that's still going to continually crime you no matter where you're living, okay, and that you'll be evicted from this place that you did and made homeless again? You might as well just stay homeless and try and save money, okay? We learn from from our past, from previous experiences. So Google how they create the homelessness of victims. I absolutely know it for a fact that the police are involved in this crime, 100% and completely controlled by it. Okay, so I strongly suggest that you research that extensively as well. So, you just would not believe some of the stupid, sick shit that they do. They will literally get around me in wooded areas and intentionally do things to let you know that people are in the area. This is done to frighten you. They're called spook games. Okay? To give you a good example of that, go to YouTube and type in this title. California teenagers caught on surveillance harassing neighbors. Now that is a video about gang stalking, believe it or not, even though it's not discussed. Trust me, just trust me. Now the reason I'm bringing that video to your attention, along with the YouTube video "Gang Stalking Bullying on Steroids," is to let you see that it was through repetition that created the fear, the repetition and the techniques that were used in that video, California teenagers caught on surveillance harassing neighbors. What you need to look at was how often the teenagers were doing it, how they brought the harassment from the street to the cars, then to the front doors, and then to the windows of the daughter of one of the victims. These were all techniques for what? To let them know they're being harassed, then to make the victims concerned about their properties, their cars, then to make them worried about their homes, and then to make them worried about one of their most precious possessions, their daughter. And then look at the victim's statements pertaining to how they stated, we don't know what to expect next. Well, what they were doing was using the people's property and natural fears based on the techniques they employed. They were designed to harass and to create and excite, okay, fear about three different things: the home invasions, okay, the property, the cars, and intentionally making sure that they were noticed outside of the window of the daughter of one. Because they know that those are the three main things that people want is security concerning property, your daughter's life, and your front door. Okay? So that's why they'll have victims assaulted numerous times. That way the target, whenever the target sees somebody coming on the property or around it or makes a noise, the target will look up and then instinctual fear will be excited. So they can control a target mentally just through making a sound. So you can go to Google and research sensitization methods and sounds in gang stalking. Now, I'm trying my very best to keep my head concerning this crime because I already know that a huge aspect of it is perceptual torture as well. I strongly suggest you extensively research assaults in gang stalking, sensitization methods in gang stalking, abuse in gang stalking, even rape in gang stalking. Okay? And, when it comes to the stimuli that are intentionally being propped up around me at wooded areas, I already know they're intentional. Absolutely. And I know my fellow targeted individuals know I'm telling the truth too. But what you need to do as an American citizen is you need to thoroughly and extensively research how this crime will intentionally, okay, make sure that you're focused on it, buying through the repetition of the things that they do. Okay, and that can be the beginning of your research. The best place to start is by researching sensitization methods of gang stalking, assaults in gang stalking, rapes in gang stalking, robberies in gang stalking, falsified arrest in gang stalking, noise harassment in gang stalking, non-stop harassment in gang stalking. Just do it. And you will see that the target is intentionally put in this collage, okay, of multiple different techniques that are employed around them using their perceptions and their senses. Okay. In order to preoccupy the mind and to overload the mind and the body, to wear them down. Okay. They will also target our finances, our shelter, our transportation. They will target our finances, our shelter, our transportation, our property, okay, our credit, okay, and legal advocacy as well. And they will absolutely use the courts against you too. So, fellow American citizens, I strongly suggest you research my blog and get in and become aware of the techniques of this crime so you can see what is happening to American citizens, innocent people. I don't do drugs, I don't drink, I don't sleep around, I don't steal. I do not associate with anybody at all in any way, shape, or form, meaning that I do not and have never and will not hang around anybody in California, especially San Diego, okay, and haven't since August 8, 2011, up into and through this date, August 1st, 2017, and past, meaning that I will continue to never associate myself with anybody at the personal level, the acquaintance level, the friendship level, or the intimate level until this victimization is stopped and I am completely confident that it has. And the only way that will be achieved is by entrapping these fuckers in court. And I am very good at what I do. Make no mistake about it. Fellow American citizens, my name is Leslie Williams. Let's see if I'm arrested or ticketed for illegal lodging, trespassing, and encroachment, or if anybody tries to claim I'm involved in any type of illegal behavior, including violent behavior, which I am not in any way. Alright, I make these prediction videos in order to protect myself. Let's see if anybody comes on any wooded area property that I am on, whether the tent is up or not, or being put up, whether I'm in it or not, including sleeping and before I can take it down in the morning. Because if they want to be able to arrest you for illegal lodging or illegal encroachment or at least trespassing, they obviously have to know when you're in that tent or when it's been put up and when your property's been put in. Now, how could they do that? Through covert surveillance. So research hidden cameras in gang stalking, radar guns in gang stalking extensively. Okay, research how hundreds of targets have found hidden cameras in their homes. Sound surveillance as well. Okay, you know, since you're in a wooded area, there's many places that these little punks and criminals that they buy off and pay off that can position themselves anywhere on the property on any date, okay, and watch the target from a distance. They basically say, well, it's set up as when we'll stage the event. It's literally that simple. You can't prove none of it, while they'll lie about every bit of it. And so that's why I make my predictions. This is why I make my predictions. Fellow American citizens, my name is Leslie Williams. I live in La Jolla, California. I am a target, victim, and activist concerned in the continued criminal expeditions of what is known as gang stalking. I do what I do to inform, to expose the truth, okay? And so please research what I expose. You would not believe what I'm going through every day. You just would not believe it. You just would not believe it. Literally. And I go through it every day, nonstop, day in and day out, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, non-stop, in one form or another. Alright, thank you for listening. Please research what I've stated, and you can also make sure, if you feel inclined, to research the other videos within this Periscope account and my blog as well. I do appreciate you listening, everybody. Please stay safe. Have a good day.